My name is John Owens, and when I was growing up, we had a lot of Bible studies in our house. It was kind of like a small group, like what we would do today. My parents would be ministering out of the Bible in that time. That was going for a while. My dad had started to travel around and speaking, and then my mom got sick. She was diagnosed with lupus. And at that time, back in, I think it was the mid to late 80s, that was a life-threatening disease. And, we started traveling around to evangelist to evangelist, healing meeting. If there was some place that we could get to and they were going to pray for the sick, we would go. But her healing never manifests. Eventually, we totally fell out of the church altogether. As I started driving, very shortly after that, I started drinking. And, after drinking, then it was, onto drugs. And so I filled that vacuum that used to be God in all of my life with drugs and alcohol. Right about this time, right after I graduated, I got kicked out of my house. So I'm like, well, some of my friends that went in the military. So I was like, well, I'll see if that'll work for me. And if anything, it probably made problems worse. So I met my first wife in high school, and we got married while I was in the Air Force. We had a daughter. Shortly after getting out of the Air Force, we got divorced. My ex-wife took my daughter, and she moved about 8 hours away. Looking back on it, I can't blame her not wanting my daughter to experience me like she had experienced me. I remember meeting Kara for the first time, and I'm like, I'm literally just divorced. At the time, I'm like, man, this has no hope. A few years later, Kara and I had twin boys. And a couple years after that, we got married. This is a point in my life where I'm just really depressed. I'm having panic attacks. I didn't want to live, that's for sure. But my brother-in-law, Lauren, was in town and one day invited me out to lunch. And he said to me, what's stopping you from going back to church? I said, we had been talking about that for years, Kara and I, and thought it would be good for the kids. And he said it'd be good for us. I said, you know what, right, we're gonna go back to church this weekend. And that weekend was April 1st, 7 years ago. And the message that weekend was the prodigal son. And that day, as I rededicated my life to the Lord, and just to be healed of so much. And I remember as I did, some of the pains and the addictions that I went there with were instantly gone. And with that one decision, I was free. I remember we weren't a couple months into us going to church, and I still remember that Saturday afternoon, me sitting on the couch and Kara in the love seat looking at me, and she says, where did my husband go? It's like you died, and I want the old John back. But I told her, I'm like, that John is dead. If that John comes back, I die. Because I couldn't live like that anymore.
Yeah, it was a little hard to hear those words, that the old John was dead and that this is a new John. So it took me a little time to get used to that, because at first I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I want to stay, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
And it wasn't long after that, Kara got saved. We're in church, and I'm on fire. Mm-hmm. And all I want to do is ministry, really. And in my prayer time, I felt like God was telling me that we were being called and separated to ministry.
John's always wanting to minister to people, and there's areas around here that just need the love of God.
I am so excited for Newcastle. As I start to travel there and we're going to plant a campus there, I am so excited to share what God has done for me in my life. Maybe some of them are battling with addiction like I was. Maybe some of them have experienced some of the same pain that I have. But as I pray about Newcastle and I just see restoration in Newcastle, where the economy's coming back, the jobs are coming back, people are restored, and I could see that city like it was meant to be. And I remember the first person I met with just feeling like led, like he's been praying. He personally has been praying for reinforcements. And I asked him about that. He goes, I have. And I said, well, here we are. And here we come. And I'm so excited for Newcastle. It's going to be amazing.